Morning, everybody. I just wanted to tell a few more things about a Lettera 36. So, I picked up I want to do a type cleaner through here too. I'll show you that in a minute. But I picked up a parts machine, and because I was typing my mom a letter yesterday morning, and after about 15 minutes, the thing started getting weak. The carriage return was like, and I'm going, well, what the heck? And the motor was real hot, and it wanted to shut down because it was so hot. It's not going to let you damage it. It's going to shut off, I would guess. But the reason it was getting so hot is my belt tension was off. I had it way too tight. So you can see here the belts, right, down in here. And your adjustment for those belts is, it would be easier to show you on the parts machine, right here, there's a little roller under there. So you want that to be, I got it at 6.5 millimeters of slack in them, and it seems to make a world of difference. Now you can touch the motor after running it, and it's cold. I've tested that, and so this parts machine, I got it for what, $19.99, and then $19.48 shipping, so $39.47. For $39.47, I couldn't go wrong with something like this. But hell darn it if I didn't start monkeying with it and actually get some of the things to work. Anyway, these are the belts, right? And by the parser machine, I was able to go, oh wow, they're supposed to have more free play in them than how tight I had them on the other one. So I measured here in millimeters from the bottom of the screw to the bottom of where it can slide to for adjustments, and this one was at, oh, what is that, like 7 3/4 millimeters, and I set the other one at about 6 because I think this is just a little too friendly. So that's how you adjust that, anyways, to give or take tension from the whole thing. The motor belt and the carriage drive belt both meet up in the middle here. So if you add tension to one, you're putting it on the other. That's how that goes. And it's not positive ground. I did get my foot. You actually have to change the bracket out. You can't just pop it out of there without ruining it. So you just unscrew the bracket that see, that's an empty hole now, and I got the right one in on the other machine. But in the parts machine, I got all sorts of stuff. Another case, a couple of metal ribbon spools, the nuts. I mean, it all adds up. Found out my cord, that one we were looking at last time, like that, with that long stem sticking out, must have been a replacement cord. Turns out the factory cord was more flush, and so I converted over to that. This is how the factory one is. The middle input is not even, doesn't have any contact copper in there. Let's see if I can get this in the camera. See how the copper's in the two ends? So the ground is actually in the cord itself. Where like the machine, you've got a screw in the bottom mounting up to the back plate and everything. That's where that symbol was, the plus with the lines under it. You're grounding out to the rest of that, but the cord itself doesn't have the big ground input off of it either. So it's actually in the cord that they did that miracle, where the replacement cord had the big knuckle and the ground thing on it. It wasn't born with it though. Luckily the parts machine came with the actual original owner's manual, so I have learned how to, see how that sits so nice in the back there? How to actually put this in its case and fit the cord. That was a big wonderment for me. There you go. You actually, oh, and it came with keys too. Why don't I show you the key thing? So with a case, if you got an old case, doesn't matter what it is, but you got the key, you put a little penetrating oil in there or something, but you don't just go right into slamming it home, you you work it a little bit as you go and make sure it can do the whole revolution. You don't want to break your new key, or only key if you only have one. So that was pretty cool. But let's run this type cleaner. This is an original typewriter cleaner, Scotch brand, number 2, Sort Quick brand typewriter cleaner. It gives you a different number there. How this stuff works is it's not sandpaper. You run it into the machine. It'll clean your feed rollers and everything. You hit your machine over to stencil mode. You move it up to the most high impact you can. So in this case, 4 copies. And you feed it in like a sheet of paper. Okay. And there we are. And then I'll show you the original owner's manual in a minute, I guess. So then you turn your machine on, and every key you just go a couple of times. Yeah. Your keyboard release on here, by the way, is also your margin release key. If there's one typewriter that'll make you a better typer, this is probably it. But it's really not a big deal to touch that margin release like I thought it was, keyboard release like I thought it would be. Well, there it is. So we don't have a lot of dirt. And you don't want to run this back once it's used. You don't want to run it backwards through the machine, a dirty piece. You don't run it backwards through the machine. And you tear it off like this here. You tear off the used section and throw it away. And you keep your good sections for another day. But we got some dirt off it. See that? And that was all in the type faces themselves. So now that's all clean. And it cleans the feed rollers. Cool stuff. Cool old stuff. Yeah, like I said, it came with ribbon spools and everything. But yeah, I mean, if you got 2 type bars that are locked up on something manual or something, you had to go up and flip them down. In this case, all you're doing is touching a key over there. So I don't know why people whine so much. Here's the original manual. Kind of guides you through a few of these things, like the paper end indicator thing there, how that all actually works. You know, switch, centering scales, use of paper end indicator. There. If you got one of these machines, you want to see this, because there's a guy trying to sell a Lettera 36C version with the square keys. He's just trying to sell the manual alone for like $31, and I'm going, are you kidding me? And I couldn't find one to print out off the internet for free, so I'm just glad this parts machine was even available. I mean, I'll make up. Heck, I might even get it working, who knows. But there was something, oh, at the very last page. That's how you thread a ribbon on one of these. It's the same as on a manual. That one's pica, this one's elite. You know, the scales are different. This one starts out at 50, that one starts out at 42 there. So that's not how I know. I knew by looking at the type slugs themselves, but yeah, when you heat up them. But this is pretty cool. So when you got the typewriter in the case, this was puzzling me how you would fit the cord. You wrap it around the machine. Okay, so you go around the machine. You're folding the cord in half here. This is folded in half, and it's just, you know, it's a million miles long. And you come up here, and now you put your 2 plug ends, your receptacle for the typewriter and for the wall, in this little pocket here. That's how you do it. And then, you know, the case smushes down. It's got the 4 fat corners, but they'll actually just lay on the cord and not hurt it any. That's how you do that. Interesting stuff, huh? Whew. All right, well, I think I've rattled off enough. So it works, but, you know, having too much tension on your belts will, you know, you got to have some slack in there. So have a good day, everybody. Take care.